Yeah, hi friends, welcome to Kakarla channel. And today is the session 10 as part of Java microservice training. So today we are going to do the Spring Boot SOAP microservices, Spring Boot SOAP microservice, CRUD operations using Spring Data JPA MySQL. So Spring Data will provide JPA repositories for the SQL databases. So we are using MySQL database to perform all CRUD operations or JPA persistence. So sorry. So session 10. This is the session 10 as part of Java microservice training. So now this is what about we are going to do a Spring Boot, a SOAP microservice CRUD operations or a Spring Boot SOAP application. So what is SOAP? Simple object access protocol. So how we are going to when we are developing a web service, we have a two kind of web services. So one is a RESTful web service, one is a SOAP web service. So in RESTful web service, we already did all the examples previous sessions up to session 9. We did only RESTful services only. But I want to add a SOAP related microservice class sort of in this training as part of this training. Why? Because most of the companies are using still SOAP also, whether we can call legacy projects or old projects, but still most of the companies are using SOAP projects. So in that case, so how we are going to create a SOAP project now, and what is the difference between a RESTful service and SOAP service? See, RESTful service we have a simple. It accepts any kind of any format of input, and it will give any format of output, which means it will take input JSON JSON object as a or JSON file as a input, and it will give the JSON file as an object, or it will take a plain text as a input and plain text as an object. Sorry, output for the RESTful service. But whereas coming to SOAP, it is strictly it will take XML as an input and XML as an output. So by default and explicitly will take SOAP service. Always SOAP service will take XML as an input and XML as an output. That is one version. And second version, so in our RESTful service, we don't have any documentation kind of information related to RESTful applications. So that is the reason we are adding a Swagger third party component. Using Swagger, we can test our application as well as we can document our application. And also it is provide the user interface, like how we are going to test a RESTful application service in a Postman. The same way we can test our RESTful application from the Swagger user interface when we are running a REST. Fine. But whereas SOAP, coming to SOAP, it is by default it is giving the visual document. So visual document. So when you are constructing, when you are building a SOAP application, how we are going to configure a visual document. So how we are exposing your data into the in terms of visual document, we will see now. So now I'm going to start our application. I'm going to jump into our application. So this is our application. So this is our application. So before expanding uh, all the packages, you can see the project name. Spring Boot, Spring Data, JPA, MySQL, SOAP, Microservice, CRUD operations. Okay, fine. So not CURD. This is a CRUD. 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 Okay. Bear with me if I did any spelling mistakes. So some overlooks, it may happen sometimes. Fine. So fine. So this is what Spring CRUD operations on SOAP project. So let me open Format XML. So what are the things we need? What are the dependencies we need? Spring Boot Starter web service. So in this web service, the Tomcat server will come in as an embedded server. So this is for Spring Boot Starter web for the RESTful services. Spring Boot Starter web services for the SOAP services. So this is what dependency here. So JPA. So we are going to use we are going to persist the data into the database, right? So for that we need JPA and visual. This is the visual host. So double web service documentation language. So this is what WSDL. So we are going to expose WSDL from our project, right? So what endpoints? Endpoint in the sense, see, in the RESTful service, we are called it as a API URLs or endpoint URLs or APIs. But in the SOAP service, we can call it as each and every API is an endpoint. So endpoint. So how we are exposing endpoints through WSDL document. So we will see now. And we are going to save the data, right? So I am taking one employee SOAP service, where I am employee record, where I'm getting an employee record, where I'm updating an employee record, where I'm deleting an employee record. So how we are going to save a employee related information through SOAP service, the database? For that, I need a MySQL connector to connect our database. Fine. Up to now, I think you don't have any doubts, right? Fine. So I am using Java 8, and I need web services dependency to run my SOAP service, and I need a WSDL document to prepare my WSDL documentation for the my endpoints, right? Fine. So coming to web service before coming to I have one more. You see here I have one plugin. So what is this plugin? So here in this schema directory and output directory I'm giving. So what is schema directory? Schema in the sense some XML file I defined, that is what employee XSD. So what is this employee XSD? So let me open this. So in the employee XSD, so I'm giving a schema directory, and I'm giving output directory as a src main Java. So whatever the request and response objects for this SOAP service, I'm preparing all the GTOs instead of creating manually. I'm preparing one XML schema. Through this plugin, using this plugin, I'm generating a input and output objects, right? For this plugin, simply. So whenever we are preparing such kind of things, we need to give that kind of such kind of resources, property or files. We need to provide a property directory, and we need to provide the output directory where we are generating a the data objects or DTO interfaces, whatever we can call. So here employee.xsd. So what we are going to do now? So employee information is nothing but a employee fields or employee elements. In terms of SOAP, we can call it a XSD, we can call it as an elements. These elements are nothing but a fields of employee information. So employee ID is there, name is there, department is there, phone is there, address is there. Fine. Now service status. See, in the RESTful service, we have a response entity as a response return type of each and every API. But here we don't have such kind of responses. So we need to prepare a status. Based on that status, we can pass a status code as well as message, right? Dynamically, for each respective APIs or endpoints or events or operations. Based on the API, we can prepare a dynamically status, and we can give it to the front end where it is calling to the calling place. Fine. So up to here, fine. Now one is the employee object, one is coming to here, add employee request. See, Spring Boot will always expect suffix as a request. So then only it will understand. Then only it understand. Oh, this is the request object. Oh, this is the response object. If the suffix is response, so like that we can add. So this is the add object, this is the front end. So this is nothing but a, from the control layer we are passing a request object, from the control layer we are getting a response object for the add operation or add endpoint, right? Add service. Like that, what we need a add employee, obviously we need a add employee information. So this is what employee information the will be available in the add request object. So this is the parent object, this is the child object. The child object is nothing but employee info. So that will be generated. Where it will be generated? If you see the target namespaces, which is nothing but a, based on whatever we are giving here, that will be created as a package through the platform. So it will be created, and it will be generated all the objects. So whenever we are clean install, we are doing clean install, it will automatically generate. So now to show that generation, I am deleting this package now. I'm deleting this package. Now I don't have any package, right? So here this will be the package. The package will be generated like this. So it automatically take the reverse from the endpoint. So that is the reason I'm giving like this: com dot vkagala dot spring boot dot soap dot interfaces. So you can give request and response objects, but when we are talking, when we are the soap service, the objects are interfaces, right? Our content request, it is taking and it will give the responses. So that is the reason I'm giving a interfaces instead of DTOs. We can give any name, no issue. So like that, add employee response. So whatever we are getting a request object, we need response object also to expose the response data to the front end. Fine. Like that, get employee and get employee response. Like that, update employee and employee info here, and update response. If you want to pass employee info also, you can pass, no issue. If you want to pass status, you can pass status. So based on your requirement, based on your choice, you can pass both the things. Somewhere I passed both the things. See, add employee response. See, employee status as well as employee information also, I'm passing to the backend. Fine. And delete employee. Delete employee will always expect employee ID, right? Get employee expected. Get employee also, it will we need to pass from the information. We need to take the object ID to get the employee response. Okay. So let me run. So why we are getting an errors here? Obviously we are used this object in somewhere in the project. So that is the reason it is giving error. So let me run to generate these DTOs or interfaces. So just I'm cleaning my project. So clean. Just let me delete first the target folder. Otherwise it will take from. So that you people will see how it is generated. Yeah. Just now I'm deleting the target. Whatever I'm getting the target, I'm deleting. Now I want to run install Maven install. So see here, we are getting a your compilation error. Fine. So now you can run Maven install. Interfaces are coming. So fine. Now whenever I'm running clean install, interfaces are coming. Right? Now this time build success. Fine. Still we are getting a errors. Why we are getting errors? So maybe resource organize imports. Automatically it will take exact input. Not get ID by request. Get employee request. Organize imports. Fine. Get employee request. Meanwhile, same way in servicing clause. So this is not a get employee by ID request. So this is a request. So let me import the organize imports. So that request dot what we are having here, employee info. In this employee info, we will have a ID. So taking like this, we can take a get employee info. In that get employee info, we will get a employee information. From that, we will get a ID. From that, we will get a ID. Fine. Fine, right? So now, fine. So first of all, I want to open what is this here? Endpoint also we are getting. So let me, yeah, here also request only. We are passing a request. So let me organize the imports. Fine. So don't worry, I will explain all the things. Fine. Now we don't have any errors now. So interfaces are whatever the input and output objects are generated based on the whatever we are giving a XSD. Fine. So you can see the interface. By seeing an interface, we can sense what we are doing in this application. So add employee response. Add employee is the one operation. Get employee is the one operation. Update employee is the one operation. Delete employee is the one operation. Fine. So here, see, you can add a public no issue. We can add a noise. Nothing will happen if you are not adding within the project only, right? Nothing will happen. So we are doing 4 kind of operations. By seeing this employee to know, we can sense, okay, these are the 4 operations are going to done in this. So if you coming to the employee service in IMPL, so if you coming to the employee service IMPL, where is the employee service? This is. So here we need a repository to save the record and employee helper. So what is the employee helper? We are just model. So here, if you see here, database. So this is the employee model. So whenever we are saving a details to the database, we need to prepare a model. We need to get the data in terms of model, right? So just whatever we are getting a request, we need to prepare a request in terms of model. So then only we can save the model here. So here preparing model is nothing but employee object. I'm creating an object here. This is the database entity. So beanutils.copy properties. So beanutils is the one of the utility class from the Spring Beans. So we can copy the properties and what it is source and target. So automatically take the properties from the source and automatically give the targets to the whatever the properties are the here it is. So whenever we have the properties, the make sure your source object and your target object are having same properties. So then only it will work. So in our case, our employee request objects and our employee request object, we have a employee info. So employee info is the we have a name, employee ID, department, phone, and address, right? Same fields we have a in employee object also. The same fields we have employee ID, name, department, phone, and address. So the same we are having. So that is the reason I'm using I'm preparing the object employee model here. So I'm returning employee model to the this service MPL here. So here I'm saving. After saving, I'm returning employee add response to the front end. So this is the return type, right? So I'm returning some preparing some messages and I'm returning the employee response here. Fine. So this is what just API implementation. So this is what service. So in the service we have all the values. So why it is having 2 implementations, more statements, and why it is not having, I will tell you. So coming to repositories. So repositories, so previous all classes I already told you what is this repository and what is this employee and what is this data type. We need to give the whenever we are using a repository, we need to give the database model as well as primary key of a data type of this model. What is primary key of long? So the long data type we need to give here. Fine. So coming to application class. So this is the application class. So here we no need to give anything, just another Spring Boot application. So coming to data store setup. So whenever you are working database, the data store setup should be like this. So we need to load this repository and we need to component scan all the data will be available here, and we need to do the entities also here. So by taking this properties from the properties file, so whatever we are giving the properties related to database, here I'm giving a Spring Data Hibernate DDL auto create. So whenever we are running an application, automatically it will create a table and automatically delete based on the repositories what we are giving a repo. So here if you see the repo repository, so we are passing an employee object. So in this employee object, the table name will be employee, and these are the columns will be created. The columns will be created with the help of Spring Data by passing from the Spring Data repositories. Fine. So database here I said what is application, what is data structure. Now employee endpoint and employee web service configuration. See, this is the SOAP service, right? So we don't have any controllers or control package. So in terms of SOAP service, we have an endpoint. The here endpoint is nothing but a controller class of our SOAP service. So before going to the controller class, I want to tell you the web service configuration. So whatever we have a web service configuration, we need to enable that web service configuration, and also we need to tell if this is the configuration. So we can use component also, but here component in the sense Spring component. Web service is all configuration also Spring related annotation. But we are doing some configuration related information, right? So whenever we are doing a configuration related things, better to give the configuration instead of component. So if it is a normal helper class, you can give the component. So if you see employee helper here, employee helper here, employee helper here, you can give the component. So if normal configuration files, you should give the recommended to give the configuration. So configuration. So fine. Now this is the servlet registration bean. So in the servlet registration bean, if you open this, maximize this screen, you can able to see. You can able to. So yeah, this is the servlet. This is the application context. So in the servlet registration bean, we are loading the application context. So we are setting the application context to the message dispatch servlet. Message in the sense the SOAP messages. So application context and visual formation location we are setting the true. Also the URL pattern of this service. So /vkakarla service is nothing but whenever we are calling a localhost port number vkakarla service, we need to give. After / we need to give the bean name to load this visual. Why? Because on top of visual definition only we given bean name, right? Bean name directly we can call this. If we are having a bean name, we need to give this is also. So in Spring Boot, in a Spring application, default visual 11 definition is the one class where we can define our visual document related information. And what is the port type of? First of all, I am creating a object for this, and visual definition dot set property type port type name. So this is the vkaka SOAP HTTP port. Fine. So location URI. See, whatever we are giving the URI in the sense URL pattern of the service, we need to give the logical name here, so that automatically this using this pattern, the visual documents will be loaded. And target namespaces. So what are the request and response objects for this SOAP service? We need to give the target namespace. This is already given in our XML schema. And visual definition. So set schema. So whenever we are setting a schema, so we have a schema, right? All the objects or all the interfaces, request responses of this SOAP service, we need to set in the visual document. So then only it will load the visual documentation. Fine. So this is what configuration. And also see, we already generated that schema, right? So that schema also we need to provide the location to this documentation. Then only it will load all the objects, the input and output or request and response objects to this visual documentation. So this is what configuration. Endpoint. So this is the very, very important. So endpoint is nothing but our controller of this web service. So here endpoint is nothing but REST controller. It is equivalent to REST controller, or it is equivalent to controller. Fine. So here target namespace. What is the target namespace? So this is nothing but all the request and responses objects are available here. Fine. So payload payload root annotation is nothing but it will works as a request mapping. So how we are giving a request mapping in our RESTful services, the same way we need to give like this. So add employee request is the URI or a part of this URI of this method. So or part of this method. So if you see here, employee XSD, in employee XSD, we given add employee request, right? We given add employee request. So if you see here, let me open. Yeah. So this is the XSD in the add employee request, right? So the same way it will come the request here. So here @response payload. Here coming to back. Here @response payload. So the response payload is nothing but a return type of this method body. The method body will be give the response body as whatever we are returning here. So for that purpose, we need to use response payload. And also whenever we are requesting to this service, whenever we are giving the request to this service, we need to give the request payload before the request. So we are getting a request and response objects, right? So that is the reason I am giving like this. So from here, we need to auto-write the service where we are writing a business logic related to this API. So if you want to write a business logic, you can use like this. If you want to write a business logic here, you can write like this. But recommended to write a business logic in a service layer only. So that is the reason I'm adding two APIs, two APIs or two endpoints like this, and I'm implemented two APIs or two endpoints like this. But this is not recommended. Better to write your code in a better variability. Like this only. If you enter inside of this, here we are having a employee repository and employee helper. So what we are doing, prepare employee model. So model only we are saving, right, in the database. Model only we are saving the database. So whatever we are getting a SOAP object. This is the SOAP object. This is the database object. So from that SOAP object, we need to put those details into the employee database model, and then only we can save the model here in the database. Then only we can save the model here. So model here. Now what is this? What we are preparing? So here I already show you. So bean utils is the Spring Beans class where we can copy the properties if the source and target having the same fields. So here we have a employee info fields are equivalent to the employee object. So that is the reason I'm giving the source object to the target object. Target object is our employee model. So coming back to our service. So here I'm getting the employee model here. Whatever I'm getting the employee request from the SOAP object, I'm copying those properties into the employee object, and now the model is ready to save. Now I'm saving the database here. So here, what is this employee repository? So employee repository save. We can pass the employee model. After that, we can prepare the response object here. So simply I'm creating a new response object and also status object and creating. I'm setting some status success and content added successfully. The same status object I'm setting to the response object. Why status object is the child object of this, one of the property of this employee and employee response. So like that I'm getting a response here. So let me run this project. We will see by debugging the project. So let me run in a debug mode. So Spring Boot application. Just I'm running in a debug mode, this application. So yeah, this application is running a port number this. So here we have a SOAP service. So let me delete this. Remove this project. So let me delete this project. Now here is the SOAP service, right? So before SOAP service, we need to construct a visual document. So we need to construct a visual document. So let me open a browser. So here http localhost http:// localhost 2026 is the port number / vkakarla service. So vkakarla service. So vkakarla service. What is vkakarla? In your configuration, web service configuration, you already given, right? Your web service configuration, you are already given the URL pattern. So this is the URL pattern. And /employees also you need to give. /employees also you need to give. So go to the browser now. Here I'm giving .visual. So we need to load if you want to load the visual, .visual you need to give. So after that, see, visual it is loading. So after that, once you clicking the enter, after that visual is loading. So here from that visual, so this is the employee information, this is the status object, this is the add employee request, this is the add employee response. So like that, whole information, whole operations of this project, the visual document will be loaded. So based on the visual document will be loaded. Here from that visual document, we can sense, we can aware, we can know what is the request object and what is the response object. So like that we can know. So now I want to load this visual from the SOAP-UI tool, where I can test our web services request and responses. So let me open SOAP-UI tool. So SOAP-UI tool. This is the SOAP-UI tool. If you want to load the SOAP project or SOAP visual, it is asking, just click on the SOAP project here, and it is asking initial visual. So what is the visual URL you can give? So what are we given the on top of employees visible? If you see here, here we are giving a bean type as a employee, right? Bean type as a employee. So here bean type as a employees. The same name we can give. The bean type is the employees. The same name we can give here. Automatically it will take the bean name. Automatically it will take when we are opening, when we are using, when we are giving the visible document. Just I'm clicking OK here. So now see. So add employee, delete employee, get employee, and update employee, it is coming. So by default it will load. So how we are giving a from the visual document, that is what visual documentation. So now you can give the employee ID. So 1 2 3 4 5 and name. So name is the Veerraju. Name is the Veerraju. Department is the Java Micro Service. And the phone number is the 1 2 3 4 5. Some give some name. And address. Address is the HYD Hyderabad, India. So Hyderabad, India. You can remove this. Okay, Hyderabad, India. Just I'm clicking this. So yes, success. We are getting a response as success. Content added successfully. So let me check the database. Let me check the database. Let me check the database. See, whatever we are giving a request, Hyderabad, India, Java microservice, there are also some positive. Whatever we are giving, we are able to save the data in the database. So let me add say the same record again. The same record again. Yeah, content. Let me check whether this is added the same, whether this is added same record or duplicate record. Let me check in the database. So if you see the database, just I'm running once again time. So no record, no duplicate record was added. Why? Because we are using a Spring data. So the Spring data and the repositories will take care of to even though it is a record, we are giving the same request, it will check in the database whether the same ID of record, the same primary key of the record is available in the database or not. If it is available, it will automatically update the current values. If it is not available, it will create the object in the database. So that is what Spring data will do internally. Fine. Now, fine. So here endpoint. I already tell you endpoint. So you can write the endpoint or API like this. You can prepare the all the logic in a service IMPL by using some helper classes, or you can prepare like this. You should not write like this. Why? Because in endpoint it is simply by seeing an endpoint. Where is that endpoint? Yeah, here endpoint is there. See, by seeing an endpoint, by seeing these two APIs, we can know, okay, the readability of this controller or endpoint is better than the readability of remaining operations, update and delete operations. So better to write the business in the service layer instead of writing here. So like that, you need to prepare. It is the recommended way of writing code instead of this. So let me check another operations also. So get employee, this is done, and get employee. So what is the employee ID? Employee ID is the 12345 and get employee request. So get employee request, just I'm giving a employee ID. So you don't need to provide all the remaining variables. So you can simply get it. So we are not getting right. So let me debug. Let me debug. So what is happening, we will see. So sorry, update not. This is the get employee. Yeah. So here, if you see here, the namespace is different. The URI is different. So that is the reason it is not loaded. So if you see here, we are passing here, what we are passing here, get employee request, right? You need to give the this is the URI of this method. So you need to give the get employee of request, not ID by request, right? So let me rerun again this application. So whatever we are having a here get employee request here. This is also same we are defining in a XSD also get employee request. So the same name we need to give the endpoint. So otherwise it will not come the request here. So get employee request we given, right? Now I'm enabling. So you can call now. You can call now. So now it is coming here. Now it will come here. So it is, so now it is coming. So based on the path, you need to give the exact path where we defined in a XSD as well as XSD. The same is coming here. So now you can take here, you can go here, you can go here, you can come here, you can inside you can go here. Yeah. Now the request is coming here in the service IMQL. So in the service IMQL, so in the request we have a employee info. In the employee info only we have a employee ID. So this is what employee ID, right? So this is what employee ID. The same I am taking here. The same I am taking here. Request dot get employee info dot get employee ID. So after that, obviously I will get a employee response here. Employee response. So let me debug. Yeah, employee response. So what are we are getting a why it is employee object is coming now. Let me check. So we are not getting right. So let me rerun and check. So what it is. So yeah, employee object request equals to new or long. You need to take the long value. I think it is not going in a correct way. Let me now we are passing. So now we should get yeah. Let me rerun again. So I'm rerunning again this project. Fine. So let me update the definition. So it will update. Let me update definition. It will update. So it is updating. Update successfully. So get employee request. It is taking ID. It is taking ID. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fine. So now I am giving. Oh yeah. So delete employee, right? Fine. So get employee. You need to pass the get employee. So just yeah, it is coming here. It is coming here. Fine. And I'm going. So I'm going inside that. I'm going inside that. So I'm going inside the get employee. So here the ID is coming. Long ID is coming. So let me check. Are we having record or not? Are we having record or not? Obviously we will not have. Why? Because I will tell you. Because I will tell you. See, whenever we are running an application, the ID will be the record will be deleted. Why? Because see, in the properties files, yeah, that is the reason we are not getting the response. In the properties files, if you see the property file, we given a DDL auto command. So data definition language or create and drop. So whenever you are stopping the application, the record will be deleted. So the record will be dropped from the table. So if you want to get the record, you can add the record and you can get. So now I am adding record. Let me open SOAP. Yeah, now I am adding. So it is added. Now I can get the record. Get employee. In the get employee, I'm passing the Let me open now. Now I can pass get employee. So now it is coming a request in employee info. In employee info, there coming a employee ID 12345. So what we are adding in database, let me check what it is available in the database. Let me check what database it is, what record available in the database. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, we are having a record now. Now, let me go here. So employee ID, find by employee ID, So here we are passing the employee ID, right? So in the repository we add a long employee ID, find by employee ID we given. Fine. The same we are giving a long only. So long only we are giving. So let me run here. So IBNet record is updated. Yeah, now we are getting a employee response. So I'm creating employee response, and whatever we are getting an object. So we need to give the this is what we are not getting. So this is the source, right? Employee info is the target. Employee info is the target. So like that we need to give. Now from the source it will copy the target. So now the source it will copy the target. Now it is having employee info. Yeah, I need to rerun again. Fine. So just rerun again. So this is what while debugging we need to know where we did mistakes. So what we need is what will happen. Source we need to give the source object first. Source object always will have the data, and target object will have the copy the data into the target object. So again I need to run. Again I need to do the details. Why? Because after running the application it will be dropped, right? So we are getting a response now. So now here, so let me disable the debug. Let me disable the debug. After disabling, let me open the SOAP. So we are running we are already saved the database record. Now I can run this get employee. If you open here, so success and deleted. Yeah, this is deleted. Oh, the delete operation we did. Let me open again. Save the again record. So, content is successfully added. So now let me open the get employee. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 we given. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 we given. Let me run this. So now we are getting a data response here. So whatever we have we are getting response. We did operation also. Let me update the update. Let me update the things. So in update we need to give the existing record 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what is the name we calculate? You can update something. And what is the department? You can update some values. What is the phone number? You can update some values. What is the address? You can update India. So something you can give address. So now you can see. So content is updated successfully. The same you need to get what it is get employee. So I'm running a get employee. Okay. So previously the object will be like this. So after running, what will be happen? See, whatever we updated, the updated values are coming. So this is what a SOAP service cloud operations. See, the configurations, web service configuration and configuration, web service configuration and endpoint, the web service configuration and endpoint and XSD and XSD. These three only the new things are related to SOAP web service. So otherwise, remaining all are the same. So this is what a Spring Boot, SOAP service we did CRUD operations. So thanks friends, thanks for enjoying this subject, and we will next session we are going to do some Kafka related Spring Boot Kafka. So how we are going to subscribe messages in a Kafka topics, and how we are consuming a topics from the Kafka. We will see session. This is but this session is the completely a Spring Boot, a SOAP CRUD operations or SOAP microservice. We can say it is a SOAP microservice. service. Yeah, thanks friends. Thank you very much for your patience. And also please like and subscribe. So if you subscribe my channel, so that you will get the notifications whenever I am adding a new classes or new sessions. So in this channel I will trying to upload all the videos related to microservice, complete microservice, Spring Boot microservice videos, and with the free of cost. And also I will give the my Git repo, where you can download the projects and do the practice in your local, right, in your mission. So that is the reason I'm requesting to you guys, or you people, please subscribe my channel to get future more videos. So right? Yeah, fine. Thanks, friends, and thank you very much.